All right, y'all. Here we go. We're back on OBS this time, doing another trading recap for you guys. So today I posted my pre-market game plans. I posted that I was either watching a NQ 23,650 break, which was right here. You know, it's this previous structure here, failed here, and then this morning pre-market, we tried to test it again, failed, and then we almost tried to break out, failed again, so didn't take that trade. The second watch that I had on NQ was a 23,400 bounce. Because like I was explaining yesterday, like with all we have all this data here, you know, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and then right here is when it flipped into a lower low, and then potentially here lower high. But then this would have had to be filled into a lower low. So then once we broke above this, price would like to come back down and retest that level. That's what I was talking about the other day about a break and retest as well. So that's why that was on my top watches, as well as a ES, which is the future symbol for the S&P 500. I was watching this 63.75. You can see here you got resistance. You got, you know, demand here, supply, 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 and then we finally broke out of this channel right here, and I was watching for it to come back down and retest that for a bounce. So the first thing I want to go over is actually here, because this is a really good lesson, and what I was texting Kyle earlier. When looking for a breakout, and this mainly goes for a breakout, not as much bounces and rejects, but when looking for a breakout, what you want to see is a higher volume, 5 minute, because I'm on the 5 minute time frame, a 5 minute candle closure over my key supply zone. And so here we had it close directly at my level. You see here my level's at 652. You know, it closes right at like 654. And so that's not really what you want to see. You want to see it like, you know, close at maybe 70 and then come back down and retest your level. And then so the next candle, it breaks above. I'm be honest, I was seconds away from buying this, chasing the breakout, but I was patient, and it ended up coming back, and it thank God I didn't buy because I would have got obliterated on this trade. And it wicked above, and then it just dumped. So then going into my second watch on NQ, as just discussed, it was a 23,400 bounce on a test of that previous structure. So what I did, you know, I waited, it wicked off, it broke a little bit below 23,400, but at the same point with this, it did not close. It did not close below, and so it came in and it closed above, and my average on this was about 23,425 ish on this candle closure. I bought pretty much like with like 2 seconds left on this candle, and then we ended up being able to cash out on like a $400 trade up to here. I think I sold at this previous 5 minute candle closure right here at 68. So it was about a 40 point trade, which ended up working out very good. Then I will say I did take a loss on the same setup, except this time it was, since we bounced above, we shouldn't have came back down and retested this level here. That's not what should have happened. It should have ripped above, and then just kept channeling upwards. And it came back down here. It actually broke, closed below, but my level here is at 405, and the big psychological level is 400. And so it closed below my level on my chart, which made me snag an entry. I got filled at like 399. But same thing I was saying with the 650, it did not close. Like, yeah, I would have liked it to see it close down here at 80 and then come up and retest my level. And so that's not what happened. It closed below, and then it instantly wicked me out. And so my stop was just above this previous candle high at 416. I entered at like 398, and so I took an 18 point loss. And a big lesson to know from that is, you know, on this bounce, I took a 40 point win, and here I took an 18 point loss. So at this point in the day, I was still up like 200 bucks. I made 460 bucks on the first trade and lost 200 some dollars on the next trade. Every position I take is 6 micros. So it's all static positionizing because I'm not super consistent yet. And then this was my main watch today, and it let me the fuck down. So like I said, I was watching this, watching this, watching this, watching this, watching this for a bounce. And so here it comes. It comes down. It tests this level perfectly. Forms a beautiful, beautiful bullish pin bar hammer, whatever you want to call it, on super high volume. Look at this volume. This candle right here almost had as much volume as the opening print candle. So right here we should have went. This is where we should have went, and instead I kind of knew it wasn't gonna be a great trade when we kept coming down and wicking off this level, and then eventually we move up to 86. And so on ES, an 8-point move isn't horrible, but I was targeting this previous candle high at 63.90, and we ended up going and breaking below. My stop loss was at this previous. I base my stop losses and take TPs on the hourly chart. So my stop loss was due. This is when it broke down here. So my stop loss was at this candle closure, because this was the last candle that was below my level. So I moved my stop. I had my stop at this candle closure right here, and as you can see, it didn't hit my take profit. It was about, you know, 3 points away from hitting my take profit, and I ended up getting stopped for about an 8-point loss, which was another $200 some loss. I ended up closing today, basically break even. I think I made like $7 or $8 or something like that. But yeah, I mean that was my day today. I can open up my Discord as soon as it decides to open up. And my friends that I'm teaching trading, I had my whole game plan here. This was the ES game plan. You know, I was showing this level, and then the breakout here, and then that's what I was watching for a retest of. And then second, I said I was watching this breakout at 23,650. That didn't happen. And then my other watch here, so the NQ, watching one of two things, either retested that structure that it broke out of at 23,400, and that's the trade that I made money on. And then the other two trades, one was not in my game plan that lost, and then another was in my game plan that lost. So it should have been a one-on-one day, but you know, it is what it is. You live and you learn. But that is my trade recaps for today, guys. And I will keep pushing these out. Like I said, win or lose, we're gonna keep doing them. So, yeah, thanks guys for watching.